So I guess we're making a habit of this now where I'm just here on my own to give you guys an intro for the Campfire Passport podcast. Sean is on assignment, on location, near King of Hammers. I don't know if he's going to go or not, but, maybe. Maybe we'll get a rundown later. Who knows? But at any rate, without Sean, we recorded a podcast. This one has a couple updates on some projects and things. And then we have a pretty in-depth conversation about planning this year's series of trips that we're going to be doing throughout the year. It's a good conversation. It gives you some insight on what goes into all of this that we do, and basically gives you a preview of what videos are to come later on down the road. We do have a special guest. I'll let you find out who it is as you listen and or watch. So enjoy.
Well, we can start with my Rubicon if we're not going to talk about your Rubicon yet.
Yeah, let's go.
I just spent the week deciding to do it myself. So we talked about it in the last podcast, but I lost reverse in the Jeep. I was towing Sean out of the snowdrift. It took a lot of effort, and then I did it in reverse so that I would be set up correctly, and I worked really hard, and then I actually went around where he got stuck. I went on the outside of where he got stuck, went all the way through, no problem. And then after towing this big, heavy V8 powered twin or triple locked Land Cruiser out of a snowbank, I lost reverse in my transmission.
You should clarify it's an 80 series.
Yeah. Right. That's right. An 80 series. Yeah.
But, oh man, we're gonna get the fireworks again? Oh, dang it. The thumbs up popped up. I thought for sure we were going to get fireworks again.
So I do have to leave soon, but I just got to say, towing and pulling something out are two different things. I just want to get that out of the way.
Yeah.
Oh,
you didn't tow me. You pulled me out.
I basically pulled him down the rest of the mountain, so I would count that as towing.
I towed you, Mike.
It was...
And
I just like the phrasing that you used. That's, I like when you say that Mike pulled you out.
It's you say snowbank because it makes it...
word tug job. Yeah.
The snowbank makes me feel like it was a bigger stuck than it was. It was not that good.
It was a Forest Service road, and he just lost control. It was insane.
I posted the video of it, so we all know what he's actually talking about.
There's visual evidence. No, so lost reverse. I got 2 neutrals out of that one. Went ahead and called everybody in town to get a transmission, and everybody in town wanted between like $40 something and $7,500. And I said no thanks, and I found one online from a like a Wyoming-based company, I think, Minnesota, Wyoming, something like that. And it's a new reconstructed core in all new guts and all internals and all that stuff for $2,500. And so I bought that, put it in the Jeep, and it was just that simple. Said no one ever. So there actually might be a video about this coming up, depending on how good I did at filming everything. But basically, I started in the middle. I had already had my old transmission out when I started videoing, and so it's from there to installation and driving. Sean came over and helped me work on the exhaust manifolds that I didn't want to work on, which I appreciate because both of them were very cracked. Colin came over and helped me do dual batteries. the other Colin came over and just drank a beer in the garage with me.
Sounds right.
And then I got this back
I
in.
was gonna say,
it was great. He was like, I just got to get out of the house anyway. I was like, yeah, I don't really have much to do right now. And he said, I'm still coming over. I got to get out of the house for a little while. And I was like, okay, cool. The biggest thing was just remembering where everything went, which was nice that I videotaped as I went. But I had to redo all my exhaust. So that was the part that sucked most. I think that the new manifolds, I was looking at them, the new manifolds are like an inch longer and set back a little bit further. And I don't know why, but it took all kinds of finagling to get my crossover pipe and like mid pipe and all that stuff connected at all. And then I couldn't get the axle back connected at all. So I just went through everything and I cut off all my exhaust hangers, put it all where it needed to be, jacked it all up into place, welded on all my exhaust hangers again, and now it seems to work. So I've been driving it around. I put probably 150 miles on it since. It all shifts good. It's all nice and full. I figured out why my batteries were going dead, and it's because I didn't tighten the ground, which is kind of a big deal.
Yeah.
So
just a little bit of a deal.
Yeah. Sometimes no start. Sometimes great start. And both batteries were reading it at 12 volts, and I was like, this is so weird. It keeps giving me problems. If you ground everything, kids, it'll electric better.
Works wonders.
But yeah, that's a quick rundown on it.
That's the proper way to state it. Thank you.
Yeah.
We all learned that from having Volkswagens.
So this Jeep is now ready to go wheeling. Sean, you got to fix your transit case wiring and your speedo, and then let's go.
Yeah,
what are you doing this weekend?
Soon. I'm going to be here, but I'll be back Sunday night. So next weekend, maybe.
Yeah.
And I think I can put the fuse back in enough to lock it once and go wheeling. I think it's fine.
Cool. Then
just carry a couple extra.
Yeah, that's fine.
We'll just bring a bunch of fuses.
I'm going to leave you guys. I hope you have a wonderful podcast. Thank you for letting me join. I really appreciate my time here. And good night.
Yeah, see you on the next one.
Bye, Sean.
Gonna go get stuck in another snowbank.
Well, now that the dead weight's gone. So Mike,
were the exhaust manifolds not factory ones? Were they like aftermarket, and that's why there might have been a difference, or are they like a late model versus early model?
I think that they're aftermarket. So I was looking through, and I can't find the one specifically that I bought anymore, which is always a good sign. If the company that you bought them for is no longer, like, you can't figure it out. So that's positive.
Hey, you got them.
Yeah, I know.
Unlike Tyson's Chinese bumper that he bought for the XJ.
Yeah, that one
that never showed up.
Yeah, so what it seems to be is you can buy basically exhaust spacers, or they make manifolds that are longer that spaces your exhaust down to clear your drive shaft if you're not going to run an aftermarket drive shaft and have more than 3 inches of lift. So it kind of just gets it out of the way so you're not impacting it when you're flexing out. I ran that aftermarket drive shaft and the Adams drive shaft, and it's great and it works really good, and it doesn't need that. But I was reading that there are some companies that offer that. It was not anywhere that I read on this set, but it's the only thing I can think of that would make sense, because it's way off. Like, I can't fit my front skid plate on at all, and I took it off to install everything. So, like, it was on there, and it's not even close anymore.
It doesn't have anything to do with the fact that you turned your tailpipes into Chevy logos?
No, I cut those off, so they don't count anymore.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I didn't know that it was that easy to correct exhaust issues.
That was also
all you gotta do.
Sean that did that too. You know, it was.
Yeah, he was driving. When he was driving a capable rig that didn't get stuck in the snow, that's how.
Oh.
Yeah. Not that he was driving it in the snow.
Can we talk about?
But
no. But I didn't get stuck in the snow, and that I think is important. Even without reverse, I was able to. But yeah, so I think that it was just a spacing issue. I was going to go have the guys at VR just basically redo everything And then I got annoyed with it, and I just did it today. And like I said, I cut off all my exhaust hangers, put it where I wanted it, and then welded them all back on. So the exhaust is in a good spot. I still can't get that skid on because it's too close to where the manifolds are. So I'm just going to build something that's better. The skid that's there is literally just a single piece of pipe that goes across and kind of protects the transmission and kind of protects the exhaust. But I don't think that it's good enough for me to put a bunch of effort into making work. I think I should make a actual transmission skid plate that will actually protect things. So that's the next thing on my list.
Just have little holes cut out in the skid plate for the exhaust to poke down through, and eventually it'll get slammed up far enough that it's it'll be fine. Low car stuff.
Yeah.
You just take the low car principles. Eventually it'll smash itself out of the way, and then it's fine.
As long as it's not cast aluminum, it'll be fine.
When I pulled that oil pan off, the one that I put on the rock, and I finally got a chance to hold it in my hands and looked at it, it was so bad. I was probably starving the engine of oil a little bit because it had pressed the oil pan up into the pickup and it was just pushing on it. And there's not a lot of room around it that should have worked. When I drained everything and I took the pan off, and you could see the little impression where the pickup is on the pan. I was like, that's touching. That is touching. And I took some circular metal, it's like chunks of flat steel that were just hole punched out of the pickup. I have no idea where those came from, and they're not magnetic, and it's not a piece of an engine that makes any kind of sense. So I threw those away and pretended like I never saw them. If you give a problem too much attention, it will become a problem.
Yep. Yeah. Turn the radio up.
It ain't broke, don't fix it.
Yeah. I have great oil pressure. I don't know what you guys are talking about.
I couldn't tell if that was sarcasm or not.
No, I do. Actually, it's good.
I hope so. All right, well, what's...
I was going to say.
That'd be the next problem that would be a real good one to start with, right?
I know.
I don't have oil pressure. I wonder why.
Yeah. Didn't have reverse, and now I don't have oil pressure.
I blow yeah.
At least you did it. At least you lost your reverse by pulling out the 80 series. So, I mean, as a Jeeper, I feel like that has to be pretty good.
Oh, yeah. Land Cruiser owners are going to hate to hear that a Jeep was recovering a Land Cruiser.
Yeah. Not only was it a Jeep, it was a JK red Rubicon.
Yeah.
It's like, fuck.
The
worst thing.
Hear me roar. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I'm so mad because we had such good snow for so long, and this was just in the garage. I was out in my work car. I got stuck in other people's driveways. I couldn't go anywhere. I went and got the camp truck so that I could get around town without worrying about things. And this asshole was in the garage the whole time all that was happening. And then as soon as it's out, we have one snow pile in the neighborhood at all. And I can't go. I want to go snow wheeling. It just doesn't exist.
That kind of happened with me and the WJ. The front drive shaft, I was waiting on it to get here, so Alex was running around in it in two-wheel drive, trying to get around in all that snow and ice, and he was hating life.
Oh, man.
It's one way to learn, right?
What'd you end up doing with that? Did you end up getting the kit for the front drive shaft that gets rid of the goofy joint thing or whatever?
Yeah, I end up getting the Woody, and I got it here. I just trying to find the time to get it done, so.
Yeah. That's the right way to do it. That's what I did on mine. I mean, it's a poor design as soon as you lift it. It's a great design when it's at stock height, those goofy joint things, but as soon as you lift them, they're just bad.
Jeep would never do anything that's a bad design, though. They're perfect.
I mean, they use it in a lot of cars. It's not just Jeep.
And a lift kit.
Yeah.
But the thing is, he's not wrong. It is a weird choice in a vehicle that is commonly lifted, because like it is that type of joint is what's more commonly used in independent suspension vehicles, because it's not going to have those drive shaft angles from the transfer case to the diff, because those don't move. Those both stay stationary. So
stay still.
So that joint doesn't ever change angle, really. You know, so it's kind of an odd choice.
The drive shaft is not the problem.
Yeah.
So is it
bigger problem?
Is it like a? Looking from the pictures, like I kind of didn't know exactly what I was looking at, because I thought it was something different, because I did not expect a Jeep, especially a WJ, to have it, and I'm not a Jeep person. But is it like a slip yoke with a double cardigan at the end of it?
No, it's not even. It's not even like that. It's like a it's like a half of a CV almost, and like it's like a rubber CV. So see, he's got a flange here. It bolts into that flange like a CV would, but it's like a rubber mounted, like, so it's got a rubber outer and then a rubber inner that, like, so the shaft is inside, and like then it this. Has, like, see this, like this,
and there's three.
The shaft is inside of it. It does this motion, and then
with 3 steel balls,
and it can move around like this. So you can hit all the walls, you know.
So it's kind of a Chinese finger trap on the end of the front T case on a solid axle. Sounds like a horrible idea.
I mean, it's like we said, it works fine in stock formation, because you're not moving the transfer case further away from the axle. But if you add lift, then that exacerbates that angle and makes it not work anymore. So
thank you, Mike.
Look at that.
Yeah, that's what it looks like. That's exactly what it is.
Yeah.
So see the shaft inside like the CV thing?
So it's like a pseudo slip shaft, but it's like a pseudo.
The slip's in the shaft.
Slips up there, but it's still like a CV joint. That's really
it's like a like a rubber CV basically.
Well, and on the back of the JK, like this one is, it's so long, I will never have a problem with it. I'm 4 inches lifted, and this one is still at like a pretty decent angle. But on the front of the WJ or the front of the JK, it has too much angle too fast. And so I swapped it, in my case, to one of these bad boys doing one of these bad things. So
it's like it's an SYE, but it's like a CVYE.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, I'm rubbing. Hold on, I'm just going to move this wiring out of the way because it's rubbing against my drive shaft. All right, I'm going to go back.
Yeah, don't want to pull a Sean.
It's a good thing.
Thanks for the education there, guys, on your Jeeps.
Oh, yeah.
now you know
it's not my
Jeeps. You're going to use it, you know? Yeah.
Hey, you don't have them anymore. Boom, done.
Mine either.
Yeah. My Jeep has U-joints. Traditional U-joints.
Yep. Proper parts.
Yes.
Yeah, but now you can help Robert or somebody else with theirs.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Let me getting Robert to do anything to his truck is like pulling teeth. It is. Nope. And I am dreading the day that I get to tell him, hey, if you plan on going to that X trail that we'll talk about later, you should get these items. He's going to be like, no, I don't want to do that. I did great here.
Yeah,
I'm not going to do that. I'm like,
guess you're riding along then, because I'm going to make a hard and fast rule about what we're going to require to get out there. So I'm just going to put that out there now.
At least one locker.
So, yeah.
35's rear locker. Like, that is base minimum.
Sliders.
And sliders. Sliders, I don't have a worry about convincing him on that.
Body damage accepted is fine, because if Tyson shows up without sliders, I think he's going to be fine.
Oh, that's okay.
Well,
whatever.
We can make the exception there. Let's not forget that Tyson has 35s and it's locked front and rear now. So, I mean,
exactly.
I've got no concerns.
Until
I got no concerns other than his throttle.
Yes, I was going to say. it's front locked front and rear until it is not.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It can happen real fast.
That guy to blow up both of them at the same time.
Yeah, that's impressive. Yeah, well,
two different ways.
In two different ways, yeah. Gears on one side, shafts on the other.
I know, both shafts. It's insane. It's amazing.
Yeah, it was an impressive move.
Me, you know.
Gotta hand it to the guy.
Yeah.
No, also though, come to find out, on that same trip, remember I kept trying buggy lines, and then it would just stop going forward sometimes.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's because my transmission was going. So my apparently this is a common thing I should have been paying attention to. Sometimes if you're doing steep hill climbs, it will just not do them. And then that's how you know your clutches are starting to go.
So it's particularly on steep hill climbs is what you're saying.
Yeah. So I might be able to go do some of those lines that I've stopped on before.
So good thumbs up again, fireworks.
Heyo.
So I will say, as I was going back through some of the footage for putting some videos together on Wheelin' Weekend when Sean borrowed the JK for the Klein portion, there was one of the play lines at the halfway play area on 34 that he did, and he got to a point he bumped it up a rock or what have you, and then all of a sudden he had no forward, and he said, I have no forward, and shifted around a couple of times, and then it just suddenly had forward again, and there was really no explanation for it.
So Sean broke your Jeep twice.
So Sean once again
broke my transmission.
Yep.
God.
Yep.
It couldn't have been the girl that flipped it or flopped it on its side before I bought it. It's all Sean's fault.
Yeah, he ruined your exhaust. He ran the rockers into stuff before you had sliders, and he did the transmission.
I know.
So,
God,
I
man.
mean,
I tell you, he's hard on rigs,
Yeah.
Of all the people,
it's that those Land Cruiser guys, they don't know how to use. They don't know how to be gentle on the other stuff. It's just get that
it's
Toyota
that shady
mentality.
Sean style.
Well, yeah, there's also that. He'll cover it up somehow.
Yeah.
Goddamn shady Sean.
He never told me.
Nope, running like a top.
Yeah, I mean, the only way you found out was because I posted the video of everyone saying "sorry, Sean" or "sorry, Mike" every time we ran it into something.
Yeah, he never even brought it up. He was just "sorry, Mike. Sorry, Mike. Sorry, Mike." Sorry. I was like, "What is happening?"
Yeah.
It all went fine.
I mean, technically it did, right? I don't know.
Yeah, $2,500 and a lot of laying on a cold concrete later. Everything's fine.
Hey, you know what? They say hot and cold is good for your back.
Yeah, that's true.
That's true. And I mean, on the bright side, you didn't have to tow it home, which is, that's a plus when you've got a broken car. And, sometimes when you're towing, you might not have to actually drive while you're towing, right, Jesse?
Yeah.
Man, that is a good electric get around for. It's a segue. It's a good segue.
Yeah. So yes, Chevy came out with their, what is it called, the Smart Drive or Smart Cruise, and apparently you can give hands-free tuggies to your trailer now as soon as you put it on cruise control. I didn't really have any other thoughts about it than the fact that if you need your vehicle to tow a trailer, then you shouldn't be towing a trailer. Like, don't fucking carry a trailer.
Did you bring this whole topic up so that you could say hand-free tuggies?
Yes.
I think so. Yeah.
It's hands-free tuggies, man.
We could change the subject now and it'd be fine.
Chevy is giving hands-free tuggies to people who don't know how to do trailers. Thank you, Mike, for understanding my stupid brain and immediately acknowledging the fact that I wanted to talk about Smart Cruise because it's hands-free tuggies. They don't exist.
No, it's not Smart Cruise. It's Super Cruise.
Super Cruise.
Super Cruise.
If you think hard enough, you can do a hands-free tug. I've seen it on a movie once.
I mean, the concept is cool, but it's also scary, you know, just like the self-driving Teslas, because it's like you're adding a lot to not just this car self-driving. This car is self-driving with God knows how much weight additional behind it. So that's a little scary. But I will say, like, they're in the article where they're kind of talking about, you know, hey, let's say you're in some dead straight trying to get across Nevada, or trying to get across the salt pan in between Nevada and Salt Lake City. Like, when you're going to be on something that's that flat, straight, you set it and kind of forget it. At least then, you know, I mean, it's still, to me, it seems very scary, but we're also right there at the end of the old school mindset of it, where people younger than us are going to be like, "Oh no, this is genius," but I don't know. It's tough.
I'd like to point out my dad had this in like the early '90s in his old OBS truck. He would put the cruise control on while towing and look over at my mom and say, "Hold the wheel." And then he'd turn around and smack my brother or me for doing some dumb shit. And hands free, still towing.
So it would make disciplining your children in the back seat much easier.
A lot easier.
Because now you don't have to bring the passenger into the equation. You know, it's
so that's what Chevy's goal is.
Yeah, it's to make wives happy. Yeah.
Hit your kids while driving.
So you can beat your children again while in the car. No one else is going to see it. You're in the privacy of your own car at 70 miles an hour.
Yeah.
Crossing state lines. You can't get me, Florida.
Florida's going to be the place that allows it.
Yeah.
She just said it. I was like, never mind.
I just had so many reservations about it when I first read that article, because I was like, immediately I was thinking of individuals that don't know how to tow, like that have never towed anything in their life, and saying, "Oh, well, hey, I'm going to buy this Chevy. Now I can tow my 24-foot camper trailer, and it's just going to do it for me." And now when you get into a situation in which you actually need to know how to tow, like, let's say you brought up Nevada, an icy road in Nevada, and the thing kicks out and it says, "Well, I'm not going to do this." You're like, "Well, what the fuck am I supposed to do now?" And now you've created a more
when they pull over to the side of the road.
You would think a smart person does that, but the videos on Instagram tell me that people don't do that shit. They just continue on their life and tug this, 4,000-pound trailer, and that's light.
Yeah.
And even if the 4,000-pound trailer, you guys know as well as I do, you can get yourself into some really hairy situations.
I mean, any trailer.
Oh yeah.
Any trailer, an unloaded trailer.
Yeah, it can be.
I totally agree with you, Jesse.
It can have a rooftop tent on it and one tire.
I will play devil's advocate here, and the only thing I can see as being a plus to this, and I think they already have it, is boat ramps and the morons that can't seem to back a trailer up. I know.
Well,
I know.
It's not for that. It's you have to.
I know.
It's for highway only, because it's like they have mapped roads.
It's like cruise control,
So like it's an adaptation on top of cruise control, but it is pretty cool. Like seeing how much like work went into the AI side of it, of mapping. It says 450,000 miles of mapped Super Cruise roads. So that's the other thing, is you can only use it on these roads that the vehicles are previously mapped on. So that helps the situation a little bit as well. Like they're going to have pre-approved roads that you can do it. So you can't get away with not knowing anything. It's just
you're not
more
going
of
to do it through downtown LA. Yeah.
Yeah, they assume it's going to help with driver fatigue, which, I mean, I could see a little bit. I think that you'll be in your head a lot more, because obviously when you're driving, you can feel everything that's going on, so you can react to how the car is acting, basically. But if you're not actually driving, it's like, what do you? Yeah, if you're not falling asleep, what are you doing? You're staring at the mirrors, you're staring at the cars going by you. And like ready to grab something just in case. I feel like I don't feel like there's a putting your mind at ease situation there, other than like for short bursts, like I need to get a road soda or beat my kids in the back seat. Like those are the only things I can think that, like, I'm going to put it on for 2 minutes and then I'm going to take back over.
Well, I drink and drive. Yeah.
I would like to think that most trailer drivers are like that, or trailer tuggers are like that. But I'd hate to see this opening a door to individuals that don't know how to tow, because I've seen accidents with trailers and they're just added weight. It's added mass, F equals MA.
With a pivot point.
And it continues on, and it brings up another irritating topic to me, which is RVs, and the fact that we can have
caravans.
The fact that these geriatric asswipes can have these 10,000-pound RVs and drive them down the road without any sort of extra license. And it's like, how the fuck? What? Just because it doesn't have a second axle, you can get away with this? Yeah, whatever. That's another topic for another day.
That's another day.
That's how they get away with it.
That's another day. I'm not going to get down that road, and I'm not going to get down the road between these idiots who don't know how to back up a trailer and rent a trailer with a fucking boat on it, because, God damn it, Aaron.
It's so funny.
No, it is not funny. It is not funny. It is aggravating.
Live stream.
Oh, yeah. There's multiple boat ramps that set stuff up like that. Yeah, just like, watch all these idiots not know what to do.
God, and they back up the line. I'm not even a boat guy, and I've done it a couple times where some asshole is just trying to fuck his way down a boat ramp. No. I'm gonna contain myself. Continue.
Sorry, I didn't mean to bring up a sore subject.
Continuing on with Super Cruise.
Yeah, we're done with that. Yeah. Chevy's never made anything named Cruise that's gone bad, right?
No, never.
Well, it had a Z, so it's different.
Oh, got it. Okay.
Yeah.
It's totally different.
Loophole.
The loophole is the loophole.
Yeah. Well, I mean, if you guys want to talk about our impending trips this year, we can.
Yeah, do you want to do like a general rundown of all of them, or just the big one?
So, basically, what I'm gonna precurse this with is, obviously we have two that are dead set locked. Everybody knows what they are. It's, well, I mean, not everybody, not all of our listeners, obviously, but all tens of them.
Not even Sean earlier, apparently.
Yeah, all of our group, So obviously there's Alvord, even though Sean caused a huge screw up with the fucking dates, and that
didn't screw anything up for me, but yeah.
That threw me off the... Yeah, I get that for you, Jesse, because we kind of knew on the front end. But I pre-cleared all the dates and then told everybody, okay, this is what we're going to do. Here's the plan. And then weeks later, or it wasn't even... It was like a week or two later.
Months.
I get it. No, not even yet. Not even that yet, Mike. I dealt with this more than that. Oh. So I get a text like a week later, and Colin is like, "Hey, so what are the dates for the Alvord?" And I was like, I I just told you guys it's the first week of May or whatever the date was.
Yeah.
The new date rather than the original, date that we always do it or used to always do it. And he goes, "Oh, well, because Rebecca said it was this day and because she talked to Sean. So even after I had pre-cleared it, Sean told Rebecca the Earth Day date. And then she told Colin, but Colin is referring to the text that says otherwise. And so now he's, double checking with me. And I have to say, no, it's the date that I sent you. I don't know why Sean thinks otherwise. Like, okay. And then here we are months later. All of a sudden it's, oh no, we have to switch it back to that one because of other stuff that's going on. And it's just like, I pre-cleared all of this. What is going on?
Funny what's extra funny though is Sean had a date that was neither the original date nor the date that we picked. He had some other date, and he's the only one that had that date.
Yeah, I don't know what happened to him, but something. I don't know what went on there, but something went down. So. But anyway,
I'm just glad Sean's not here to defend himself.
Yeah.
I digress. We're back to Earth Day weekend, so it's the weekend just before Earth Day, because Earth Day is on Monday, and then bachelor party, Rubicon trip. We all know what's going on there.
Rubicon.
And then so the kind of third one, and this is the other thing that bugged me. Was Sean trying to move the fantasy draft again. I don't know why he keeps trying to do this. Mm-hmm. It's been the same weekend every fucking year since day one. We've been doing this for, God, what was it, like 13 years, 10 years, something like that? I think we're on our 10th or 11th year. And it's been the same weekend every year. And yes, not everyone can come. And not everyone can come every time. It happens. Sometimes Jesse can't come. Sometimes Tyson can't come. Sometimes Mo can't come, because Mo did used to come. Let's not forget. He's got 2 kids.
Oh, yeah, I remember that.
He used to come.
In Portland. It was great.
But,
yeah,
like, I don't know why he keeps trying to move that, but that is the other one. And basically I'm telling him right here, right now, Sean, as you're listening to this, plan it yourself and let me know. Otherwise, it's the weekend it's always been. Good luck. I'll give it to you there, okay? So if he does move it, which he won't.
Frustration boil.
If he does move it,
I've been fucking planning this for years.
Then we'll just use that weekend for something else. Mike's falling down, or at least his camera is. So
I'm breaking another tripod. I have a whole other tripod out of nowhere. It is falling.
Well, hey, Colin, I mentioned that to my coworker, Steve, and he said that, well, hey, if you guys aren't doing it, we're going to be there anyway, so if you want to come hang out, feel free. You can come camp with us.
Yeah, see? There we go.
On Labor Day weekend.
Yeah. We know that those dudes party on Jesse.
Right.
I know you don't like side-by-sides. Yeah. But these guys?
Oh, no.
These guys are wild.
Oh, yeah.
We gave them the A-OK to give us some flybys.
Yeah, hot laps by the camp.
Tell you what, that was some action, I tell you.
I give shit to side-by-sides, but I understand that they have their time and their place. Yeah. I would never own one. That's the only thing.
So basically what that leaves us with is, because of my predetermined dates that I put in, I felt like everything was well spaced so that like everyone has enough time between each trip. It's not like everything's stacked in against each other, kind of like it was last year where we had like it was like McGrew and then another trip like right back to back. So it felt overly busy because everything was stacked right on top of each other. So
and we have
spread things out, right? So that it's a little bit easier, hopefully, for people to like, okay, I've got enough time between X, Y, and Z that I can get to that, and it's not going to affect a whole lot of other stuff that we've got going on. And obviously we can do regular just campouts and things like that in between there that are simple, but I wanted to have predetermined, like, let's do a trip type dates. So we've got the 3 dates to fill, basically. And my initial thoughts on it, and that's why we're here at the sounding board, is to run some trip ideas by you guys and see what we like the most, because I've got more than what I have dates for. And then we can kind of curtail a couple of trips in that form, and then I'll hold off on one of the other ideas and bring that into next year or something like that. So basically the 3 top, well, I wouldn't say it's top. I think they're all pretty well even because it's stuff that we've wanted to do. But I'll start at the OBDR that everyone bailed on, that we were going to do the full thing as one trip. Everybody bailed on it, and I get it. Whatever. It's a big undertaking, especially for a big group. So those are actually broken down. You can break them down into weekendable trips. Mm-hmm. So essentially what we can do is we can do the Christmas Valley to California portion. So it'd basically just be drive to Christmas Valley, fill up, and then hit the trail, and it's all off highway all the way into California. And then after that, we drive home, 2 nights camping on the trail. Basically, it's going to be highway on Friday, a little bit of trail, camp, and then trail day is the next day to camp, and then a little bit of trail, highway home. That's the concept on all of these.
Yeah.
So that's a really cool area. It's very sparse, so I foresee, little competition even on the weekend just because of the area that it is. And I don't know, it's all cool. I would just like to finally do it because it's the OBDR. Like, I mean, that's kind of what we want to do,
it's our
right?
Backyard, big, yeah.
Your backyard.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
it used to be yours, Jesse, until somebody fucking left.
we all have our reasons.
Leave you.
Layside.
We all used to be over there, and ditch you, did we?
And here you go, Jesse. We're gonna make it a little bit easier for you here. I know that one's. I just naming that one. I knew that one would be a little harder for the Valley crew because that's a long haul to be able to get down to Christmas Valley for Friday, basically, or at least to Bend by Friday, and then to have to turn around and hoof it Sunday from California, literally the border, all the way almost to the other border, basically. That's and especially if you got kids, things like that, which you have, that's tough. I get that. So, but obviously there's also, we can put that on a weekend that you wouldn't have been able to come anyway, things like that. These are movable. So the next portion, mainly because, so you can connect from Christmas Valley into this section, but it's a real, behind Christmas Valley, it's pretty just bland deserty. And so I feel like it's a 50 mile, 60 mile section that we can cut it. It's not, we don't need to do that. We get the point going across that,
Yeah.
We've been driving forest roads our entire lives.
Yeah.
We don't have to fucking
we don't need to see that.
Deal with that.
So the next portion would essentially be from Mike's favorite stop, Riley. So get out to the Riley station, and then you essentially head north from there, and so it's out through the backcountry through there, through I believe it's the Blue Mountains. I'm going to double check just for the sake.
Yep.
Yeah. So
no, you're correct. It's the Blue Mountains.
Okay. So up through the Blue Mountains and run that road. There's multiple roads, but you run that route all the way out to Unity. And so from Unity, you can get fuel there, and it is about a 4-ish hour drive from Unity back to Central Oregon. And it's, again, it's a little more for the valley, but not too terrible. So it's one of those, like, maybe the valley guys have an easy time with that. I mean, and I think that Unity either way it's going to be closer than Riley. So I don't think that there's a point to even suggest running it the other direction, because I think it's 6 in one, half a dozen in the other on which side you start at because of where it's located. So then the final one that I think that would work the best for potential valley folk would be the section from Unity to Pendleton. So Pendleton for Jesse is only a 3 to 4. I don't know if it's 5, but
it's pretty
because you can just go Pendleton.
I used to drive
84.
Yeah, I used to drive it from Bend, so that was where my logic is coming from.
Yeah, see, it's like 4.5.
Listeners, I was doing 4 to 5.
Yeah, moving his thumb around. Yeah, so it's like 4.5 to Central Oregon.
Jesse using his hands to explain a podcast.
But to get to Unity, it's about 4. So it's like it's kind of the same, but you guys in the valley end up with a shorter drive home afterwards, at least, which is it's always nice to have the shorter drive on the way home. In my opinion, I don't know how you guys feel about that.
Oh yeah, 100%. Especially when you have at this point in time, this is talking about potentially August, so we're 6-month-old baby.
Right.
6 months is great. They're a sack of potatoes. You just make sure they're fed and they'll sleep.
Yeah.
Well, and
that was
I think
my favorite time to road trip with Miles.
I think that some of it too, for you, Jesse, at least, will be that we can put some of these that you are potentially more able to do. We can have those ones be a little bit later. One, because I don't know what the forests are like in the Blue Mountains. I've never been out in them. But if there are any deciduous type trees out there, our latest date, which is early October, that could be a really, really cool time to go through there because you'd potentially have some fall colors and things like that. So it could kind of bring another element into it. But also,
some possible snow adversity.
It might be a little early still.
No.
But
it is way too early for those Blue Mountains to have snow.
Okay.
I'm thinking that for you, Jesse, because the baby would be 5-6 months old, what have you, even if it was a worst case scenario, you could split duties. Like you take big baby and Anna has little baby, and you have one of your first father-daughter only trips, which I will say, having done that a handful of times with pretty young kids, it's pretty cool. Like it's a good experience to say the least. So
bringing Miles on McGrew was my favorite.
Oh man,
Miles and I talk about the McGrew trip all the time. It was the greatest. We had so much fun. He was like, he felt like one of the guys and was so stoked, and like it was the pinnacle of his life at this point. He goes out. He's got RC cars, and he'll set them all up in order, and he'll be like, "This one's calling because he's in front, and we're gonna do this, and we're gonna go," and like he'll take his cars camping, and he'll like pick who's who, and Uncle Jesse's driving this one, and we got it's a big part of his life that he was able to go do that with us. So
that McGrew Trail with Miles, when he walked up to me and said, "Uncle Jesse, can I sit on your lap?" I was like, "Yeah, buddy, no problem." And he sat down and he said, "You're one of my best friends." I was like, "Man, I love you, buddy." And he's like, "I got a lot of friends. I have enough friends." And he's like, "But I can make room for more in my heart." Wow. And I was like, "Oh my God, you little son of a gun. Like, you just broke my heart. I don't think you understand how hard you struck me. You're crying. I'm not crying."
It's weeping. There's a difference.
Even better, just a couple of days ago, he was like, he's on this kick where he likes to burp and he likes to fart because he's a 4-year-old boy. Yeah. And so, like, he was trying too hard to fart, and we're like, "Buddy, you got to stop. You're going to poop your pants." And he's like, "Uncle Jesse pooped his pants once." So
he did. That's a solid point.
Can't argue that one.
Yeah. Call back. He's like, you're the guy that he remembers for camping and loving and enjoying and best friend, but also the guy, the adult he knows that has pooped his pants. And so, you know what? It's not that embarrassing.
I poop my pants, and I am not. I will stray everybody away from getting norovirus on any camp trip.
On a long trip.
On a long trip, always bring Imodium AD. It doesn't matter where you go.
Died of dysentery.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
So the last one is one that we had planned on doing last year that turned into Wheelin' Weekend. So still Wheelin' Weekend, but grounds camp this time, which was the original plan. But again, for you guys in the Valley, Jesse, especially, we can potentially do this one a little earlier, and then you could maybe peel away for just Saturday. Just come wheel with us on Saturday. Don't even have to camp, nothing. Just show up early a.m., hit the trails with us, drive on home, call it good. At least you got to come hang out, do some wheeling, and we're good to go there. Like, that's so because I you guys know how I am. I want to, I do my best to allow everyone to have the opportunity to show up, and if things happen that you can't, that's fine. That happens. That's life. But I want to try and make everything as available to everyone as possible, because it's better when the more people we've got, it's usually better, as long as, things aren't crazy, I guess.
If everybody shows up, it's a lot more fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's why I'm really, really trying to do my best to make sure that I hit those dates of at least the trail of the Rubicon. Shout out to 4-wheel drive 24/7, because the way you say the Rubicon just makes me happy.
Yeah.
But
what is that a thing that I'm allowed to do for stickers? What if I just change my Rubicon to Rubicon? Is that an okay sticker change? I know everybody's
that's still a Jeep guy thing, but it is an inside joke for all of us, at least.
It's more acceptable. I saw a guy in a Rubicon. Well, I don't even know if it was a Rubicon. He drove by in his JK today, and it said J Pimpin'. And I'm like, oh fuck! Wow. Can I get my phone? I'm gonna take a picture of this. Like, you fucking asshole.
There's a like AMG or AGM Motors here in Bend. They have a sticker machine. I inspected the building there. And they have a sticker machine just to put the stickers on Jeeps, because they sell a bunch of Wranglers and they put like little lips on them or whatever. Yeah. But it's things like White Horse and like dark blue. Like just dark blue. Like that's the whole thing you wanted to put on there was dark blue. Like, yeah, and it's just all of it. And I was in there, and it's hilarious because it's like they have, I don't know, they had like 20 different stickers on the wall ready to go for like whatever red Jeep shows up. It's just gonna say hot fire, and like that. Like, what are you doing, man?
Pre-made.
It sells.
It's like picking tattoos from a book at a bad tattoo shop.
Yeah, exactly.
You pick it, we stick it.
Yes. Oh. So.
Well, Jesse, whatever we can do to help get you to the Rubicon.
Well, first off, thank you, Colin, for trying to be like. I appreciate you bringing up all of this, and I appreciate you guys being accommodating to me and my wife having our second kid, and our little whatever it may be being tiny as fuck. I obviously, I mean, the lower routes that you made, I probably would not make it to, and that's okay. You know, and if I miss them, I've already written off 2024 as a massive count.
It's a building year. It's a rebuilding year.
Your low year, yeah.
This is going to be a low year.
Yeah.
If I make the Rubicon, I'm going to be excited, and that's just going to be cool, great. You know what? If that's what I get to, and we all get to have that together, that's going to make me insanely happy.
I mean, that's
I know you don't want to, but if you got to fly down and if you have to fly down and ride with somebody, I'll carry your gear. I have a back seat. Like, we've got room for you too. Like, whatever it takes
room,
for you
obviously,
to be there.
Well,
yeah.
So I've already talked about. I've got a buddy with a 40-foot gooseneck, and I've already talked to Steve about. It's like, hey, if I get this 40-foot gooseneck, we could put it on the back of the Ford. And I could put Raw Dog and your truck on the gooseneck, and we can drive down together, split the drive, 2 hours on, 2 hours off, 2 hours on, 2 hours off. No big deal.
Yeah.
It's just asking all the favors of my family and friends to be like, hey, can you please watch my kids? Because I'm not going to leave Anna alone with a 2-month-old baby.
Yeah.
For 5 days.
I think that is super reasonable, though, dude. And I know that Jesse is the guy that likes to be able to do it himself, and I appreciate that about you as a human and a man. But ask everybody early, ask everybody often. Like, even Haley's already said that she'll go over and stay with her parents and spend a weekend in Beaverton just to be there if Anna needs her. Or if Anna, like, wanted to set play dates and, like, the kids can get together and hang out or whatever that can take some edge off. Even Haley's already offered to do that. So we're all here for you. Just make sure you ask so that we can be here for you.
You're forgetting it's Sunday is travel. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday is trail.
Right.
Thursday back home.
Well, you could start home on Wednesday, though. Wednesday's not going to be all day on the trail. I don't believe. I mean,
I imagine
outside of unforeseen somebody breaks something, we've got to do something to deal with that to get off the trail.
Nearby.
Then sure, but it's not an unheard of timeline to start early one day and be done on by noon on the third day. Like, that's not out of the realm. So, but since
I assumed that we would be camping at the end of the trail on Wednesday.
No, we'll be getting off the trail and to the whatever house Mo finds, if he finds one.
Airbnb, yeah.
If he finds,
we'll find out.
Hey, Morgan, here is your fucking initiative to find a goddamn house for everybody.
But since that's not the big one, or that is the big one, but since that's not the main reason for the conversation here, for you guys, it's for you, for the Valley people, would you prefer then that I lean into the further north portions of these areas for this year to increase your chance or likelihood of showing up at some capacity, being able to show up at some capacity, and then next year we can push the ones that are further south. We can push those in.
I think that the higher probability, or the probability of us doing the northern trips is much higher.
Yeah.
Especially, I mean, Steve is literally, 45 minutes from Browns Camp? So if that was the trip this year, and we really hit Browns Camp hard, Steve could carve out a weekend and push through that.
Well,
Robert
I mean, I've given. He has the dates. Everybody has the dates. It's just me saying, okay, that date is.
This is where it's
the locations.
Yeah. So like we all have dates.
I want to explore that area. Yeah, we've done a lot of Eastern Oregon stuff, which I love. I love that area, but I would like to explore other spaces that we haven't kind of been through. Because even though the southern portion isn't the place that we always play or always run through, it's similar landscape, it's similar areas. Even if it's a road we've never been on. But some of this more northern stuff, I haven't been up in those areas.
Yeah,
Jesse's bachelor party is the most exploring I've ever done up there. Yeah. Which I think would make it a really cool.
Yeah. So you guys want to witness some mud? Let's go to Browns Camp.
I think I'm leaning on Browns Camp being a little earlier, so we're not rained on the entire time.
Yeah. Sorry, August. You still want to deal with clay? It's a whole different beast.
Yeah.
I mean, we can. For growing up wheeling in Central Oregon, and having these grippy ass rocks and
that tear up your tires.
Sand that tear up your tires versus the clay, thick, gnarly shit that, I mean, even in August, after you haven't had rain for months on end, it is a totally different beast.
Yeah.
And it's going to throw a lot of people through a lot of loops, especially, 80 series assholes.
I'm in total agreement with you, Mike. I would like to kind of come up in that area too. So, I mean, because growing up over in Corrales area, that's what I grew up wheeling in a little bit, and so
I grew up in the valley too. So
I miss the green. But yeah, going north for me, I would love to check out some of that too. So I'm open to pretty much everything.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I mean, we can kind of lean on. So, okay, yeah. So why don't we just call it what it is then, and I'll lean on the northern trips, and I'll just get closer and closer to Jesse as his child gets older. That way,
wonderful.
That way,
for years.
Like maybe we'll luck out on the early one, but if not, we all get it. But then the next one we're gonna get even closer, and the kid's another month older. Getting closer.
Hey, we're cool. I mean, Emmy went camping at, what was it, 5.5 months? That was great.
Yeah, we took Miles early. It's awesome.
Yeah, and like I said,
again, it's the sack of potatoes phase. As long as it's warm enough and you can get food into that child, they're just going to lay in a spot where you set them. They can't go anywhere yet. It's wonderful.
Emmy was remember I tied the ratchet strap between the two trees, and I put Emmy's little bouncer chair in the tree. Yeah,
exactly.
Oh man,
and again, like I said, you can do potentially. There's negotiation, between the married couple here, to split them up, and you take Emmy out for a daddy-daughter trip, and everything's cool, So
I would love that. Actually, that sounds like a fantastic idea.
What if you bring her to the Rubicon?
Yeah. Ooh.
Would that make it more likely? I mean, we'll all help. We'll all pitch in.
I think that Dad might have too much fun on the Rubicon.
Yeah.
There's been some memes floating around recently about your ways.
Yeah. Just a couple. 4-beer breakfast dad might not be appropriate for daddy-daughter time.
Yeah.
Yeah, so why don't we...
Yeah, that is true. Yeah.
Why don't
I heard it was a bachelor party.
Yeah.
I'm trying to pull up trying to remember all of my dates, but I'm thinking, so why don't we call, and I'll send this out for those of us in the group, but why don't we call that October, first weekend of October, why don't we call that the Unity to Pendleton, just kind of in hopes of some fall colors.
Yeah.
Because that should be cool. And then, let's see, so there's the draft weekend.
We might have some snowversity in the Blue Mountains at that time of year, but yeah,
maybe.
I like that.
But if there is, it's not going to be a ton,
didn't I
probably.
Say that? But then you said no?
No, they get snow pretty early.
I don't know if it'll be.
It's not going to be crazy.
The way the seasons have been lately, I don't know.
I'm pretty sure I literally just said that.
You did, and we disagreed. But I
did. And Justin said, "No, there's no snow that's going to happen."
You can listen to this later, Mike, and realize that you're potentially right, but potentially you're wrong.
I like that Jesse's already modifying his stance.
So then we'll call August will be Browns camp then, because that'll be super close for you, Jesse, and
it's super easy.
That'll be easy for you, and potentially is the breaking point of the whole family can come hang out at camp while you go wheeling and then come back, or like I said, you can just do a day trip, whatever.
Hey, we're ground people now. So I can I don't take camp with me anymore.
So there you go. And so then
the way we're thinking about doing Browns camp, if Haley wants to go, is we're going to bring the red truck and the Jeep. So we'll have that as like a base camp to set up around.
That was the concept for the whole thing, was to have a camp so that everybody is welcome, whole families. And if you want to go wheeling, you go wheeling. If you don't want to go wheeling, you got camp. Like that's all it is. And we can I'll get together with Steve on it. And so potentially Steve could go post up in a spot the day before us or night before us getting up there or whatever. That way we've got a spot secured and everybody just shows up on Friday. Maybe we can hit a trail or two on Friday evening, and then Saturday's just wheeling all day, and then Sunday's
night wheeling.
I mean, there is that. There is that also.
A lot of night wheeling. Yeah, a lot of you guys have tents as part of your vehicles, though. So, like, your significant others not being able to sleep during night wheeling might be a little rough.
Yeah, there's that.
Ground tent life.
Yeah, it's true. That's
yeah. So then that would put the first weekend of June. That leaves open for the Riley to Unity section, which I know that's going to be potentially the least likely for you, Jesse, because that's still a month ahead of the Rubicon.
Yeah.
It's the northern portion. Maybe some off chance something happens for you, you can come out for the weekend or whatever. At least it's close.
I like this idea. This is a great idea. I'm happy to be a part of this plan.
Yeah, I have no memory of what, but I think I have a lot of stuff happening in June this year. So don't quote me on being there for that one.
I'm not looking for confirmations here. This is just the sounding board, okay?
I'm just starting. I'm starting early and warning you often. Yeah.
October, August. Okay.
Well, cool.
Yeah, I think that's that's a solid planning, and that's the most involved I've allowed you guys to be in my planning. So I hope you appreciate it.
That is true. Very true.
Yeah.
Thank you, Colin.
This has been amazing.
Thank you, Colin.
I'm happy to be here, Pat. Yeah.